You
So
can't
they
you
just took
can no
out the
longer drink
food.
your 40s.
Exactly. Now I do
Yeah.
miss my 40s and my blunts. That I do
You
miss.
can no longer, yeah. That in turn, that menu has been changed with thrown weapons. But the menu that from part two, where you would keep your food or your drink, is gone now. You only have thrown weapons, so that's gone.
I mean, no, you can. That can be a plus or a minus depending on the kind of person you are. You
Well,
know,
it's a minus for me because, like I said, I'd like to be involved in actually go to these places or have
okay,
the option to
but
go to those places.
for having the option of going to those places, all right, you give up having that health bar that
See, so
regenerates.
I'm like kind of cut in the middle,
And that's
stuck
why
in the
I'm like,
middle.
you got to go which one is better. Okay, my health comes back and I can stay in the game longer, or I have no food and die. Which, let's face it, I'd rather just have my health come back.
Okay.
Now, none of these are really the killing points of part 3. The two killing points of part 3 come in these aspects, in my opinion. The first one is if anyone who has played Saints Row 2 and has played the Altor download content and just knows anything about any of the characters that they've come to know about from part 1 to part 2. We find out that there was a mission from part two's downloads where you encountered Dex again and you're trying to settle the score with him. He gets away and was never seen in part 3
Yeah, they didn't talk of Dex at
at
all,
all.
and that was like a very big loose end.
And I'm wondering how that pans out because in part 3 you guys pretty much own Altor. It's the reason why you guys have gotten boosted up to fame so much. And Dex was a part of Altor, but Dex went into hiding. So now the question is, why didn't we go after Dex? Why didn't we take Dex out? Or did we take Dex out and somebody neglected to put that in as content? Okay, that kind of rubbed me wrong. I always wanted to see what would happen with that story.
What's your second downfall for 3?
The second downfall for 3 is what actually kills everything for 3. This is why I say 3 is not better than 2, and 3 will never be better than 2 from this aspect. I don't care who you are. You do not kill Johnny Gat. I will say it again. You do not kill Johnny Gat.
Okay.
Gat is one of the premier players in the game. Regardless of what any producer or staff member says on why they made the decision, I'm calling bullshit. I don't believe it.
Because, like I said, in part one, when you played, when Johnny Gat was introduced, you have more of a nostalgia. It's like you're more connected with the characters around you.
To build relationships with, and there's no Johnny.
There's nobody that's gonna fill Johnny's
There,
void.
yeah, that big void that y'all have opened, that DLC is not going to create a closure for that void. And let me just say, I'm sorry. That probably was one of the worst DLCs for Saints Row 3. That DLC started off very good, but it's one of those things where I talk about they just went too over the top. They went too zany. All right, they went too far with it. Now, Ginky Ball
Yeah,
and the
Panda.
Gangsters in Space downloads, like those. Those are funny as hell. They over the top, funny as hell though.
But Gat, I just
The
went.
whole Gat issue, don't give me Gat as a zombie. Don't give me Gat as a brain dead, watered down Hulk Oleg version. Don't give me that. I want Johnny Gat.
Yeah.
Now, there's some things that we've seen in part 4 and some of the directors and stuff on the game, they've been talking about how they're doing fan service and they're bringing back certain things, and we saw a clip where the old Shandy meets the new Shandy. But I want to know, what are y'all going to do about Gat? Because if y'all can bring old Shandy in, y'all better be trying to do something to fix this Johnny Gat hole that y'all made.
Yeah, because
Because
throughout the
there is
whole.
always going to be this big hole in Saints Row for Johnny Gat. And you cannot give some roundabout BS download or reasoning and just think that people are going to be okay with that. Hell no. Learn something from Mass Effect. If enough people get mad about your stuff, now I'll go on record saying I didn't have a problem with the Mass Effect 3 ending. I already knew it was going to happen. But there were enough people that didn't like that ending to the point where they went back and changed it. Enough people didn't like Xbox One's ideas to the point where they went back and changed it. Please listen to us on this one. Bring Johnny back. I don't care if you call him Tag or whatever you call him. Just make him like Johnny was. Okay?
Yeah, I just
He could even have lost his memory or something. I don't even care about any of that. But making him a big brute or a zombie is not going to fill the hole because he has to be in the thing story-wise also. Because it's even more of a killer when, well, at the risk of spoiler alert, there are 2 different endings to Saints Row 3. I don't know if that will play any bearing in the Saints Row 4, but there are 2 different endings. And in one of the endings, you guys are filming a movie that has a Johnny Gat lookalike in it. So it shows that you guys need to have Gat present within the Saints Row universe. You need to bring him back as he was, maybe name something different. Who knows? We don't care. But you need to bring Gat back.
I just don't understand the need to take him out of the story. And if that's the case, I'm not sure the actual voice actor of Johnny Gat of his I'm not sure that the voice actor's name. But if you can bring in the guy that talks for Julius as himself,
now that's a good point.
Why don't you bring back Johnny as himself? That's what I'm saying.
That's a good point.
I'm just saying. I just really.
I mean, I would love to see that. I mean, yeah, I love Julius because I love Keith David.
Yeah,
you know, him and Shepard, me and Julius. You know, it was cool, but then we killed Julius, so there's no more Julius. I kind of felt bad about that. I like having Julius around, but
we had to shoot him.
Hey, yeah, that had to happen. It had to. But the same way y'all let me kill Julius, you should have let me kill Dex.
Yeah, because Dex was behind that too.
Yeah.
So, but with part 3, it just seemed like throughout the whole game, for me, I was waiting for Johnny to appear.
Because it was never any assurance that he was ever dead.
Okay, if you're
that's what we were going off of, and it's like, yeah. Okay, we talking about the same guy got stabbed through with a sword, gets shot, we all this stuff, and he's still going. Gets shot once on a
intercom.
Intercom, and then that's what killed him.
That's
the death scene of one of the major characters of Saints Row.
That's the death scene, really?
Of this guy, this epic character, he gets a no death scene.
He gets no death scene.
No death scene.
No, it doesn't.
I would rather see Johnny die with my own eyes than y'all tell me he's dead from this whack ass injury, and he comes back as a zombie.
Yeah, I'm not for that. Throughout the whole part 3, for me, I was waiting for Johnny to come back, and it was like a letdown because he never came back.
Because we sitting there the whole time, I'm waiting for this mission where we go get Johnny back. My hopes started to get crushed when you go against the person that took Johnny out less than 30 minutes into the game, I believe.
Yeah.
You're already fighting. It seems
and that's
like,
another thing.
That kind of killed Saints Row 3 also. The main leader of the Syndicate, you took him out at the beginning of the game.
It was no choice either.
Yeah, and there was exactly. Within the other 2 games, there were choices. I could start killing the Cardinales and then say, hey, I want to go take out the Rollers now. Or in part 2, I could start killing the Zombie and say, hey, I want to go do the Brotherhood. Or
you could do
I want to
go
do the Ronin. Yeah, or I could go do each one at any point in time that I wanted to. On Saints Row 3, if it doesn't come up on that phone call or come up on your phone as a mission, you can't do it yet.
So they took that away.
Exactly. They streamlined the story. It did give it a more cinematic effect, but they streamlined it, and you no longer could tackle this group and do this and stop that and then go. You had no more options on how you wanted to do it. You're going to do it this way.
Exactly.
And that kind of took away from the game also.
Now, what's really sad is the people that, most people started playing with part 2 because, like I said, part 1 didn't come out on
Yeah, so
PS3.
most people's jump on point is part two, and I'm thinking that's why part three went the way that it did. Well, you know, a lot of people didn't play part one; they came on in part two,
Well,
so they're not gonna be, excuse me, as grounded with these characters as everyone else is. So it's almost like, okay, part three, screw all the fans of the series. We're trying to bring in new people, and I'm sorry, that's something that happens with video games all too often. Quit going for the casual gamer market, okay? We don't care about them. They aren't going to buy the game unless they see a review on it, alright? You killing the fans of the genre because you're trying to bring in more money. Don't do that, alright? Stay with what works. We're going to buy your game regardless. Nah, there was an overwhelming reception of Saints Row the Third, but I think that's just because Saints Row the Third appeared to a lot of the people in the casual gamer market. For one, it was the first Saints Row where the achievements were so easy to get, for one. The gameplay was easier for everyone and everything. And it's like,
yeah,
it was just so over the top zany, like with octopus guns and people launchers and all the craziness that was going on, that I'm guaranteeing a lot of people didn't even finish the game. They just like playing it just to do all the stupid stuff that they can do. And that kind of takes away from the meaning of Saints Row to me, because back when everyone was talking about how Grand Theft Auto, it don't have no mission, you can't do nothing, all you do is just run around and kill people and shoot cops. And that irritated the hell out of me when people said that. Because it's like, have you not played San Andreas? Have you not seen how it's just more than a gang story at work? Which was another reason why I liked part two of Saints Row. They kind of borrowed more, in my opinion. San Andreas is still the best Grand Theft Auto. That is the one to beat. Okay, I don't care how great 4 looked and what system it was on. I still think that San Andreas had way more depth, customization, and more fun to it. Okay, it's just the way that I think about it. Anybody that's played San Andreas probably will think that way, probably won't. I don't care. That's just the way I feel about it. But that's what made Saints Row 2 awesome, because they started going the route of San Andreas. That's what they started doing more of. They started giving people, you know, a balance between, you know, seriousness and fun. And that's always good to have.
yeah, that's true. But like I said, Saints Row wins. Saints Row 2 wins on size alone of the
Yeah.
city. Because I think you were telling me that you could fly around the whole map of part 3 in 5 minutes.
I could drive
Oh,
the
no,
whole map of Saints Row 3, yeah, in less than 10 minutes. Okay? You are not about to drive the whole map of Saints Row 1 or 2 within 10 minutes.
No way. No way.